Friends, you are welcome to join us in the ceremonial magic of Jupiter and Hathor. In order to awaken your psychic vision, anoint your third eye with water. Good. Now I want you to enjoy this, because you are going back in time, a journey back in time, to my time, in the time of hot August, the 23rd, the 21st really, August, when the sun is in Leo. Rise now in your psychic body, leave wherever you are, and come to the beautiful island of Ireland. And it is full summer. You see the beautiful summer constellations in the sky, faintly. Now time still slips back further, and you are now in the middle of Leo, on the 9th of August. And now we see that we are at noon. A brightly robed company of people are standing round a belvedere. This belvedere is of classical proportions on a classically laid out terrace, parterre, with Florence court yews in geometrical arrangement, and the belvedere, beautiful view, faces our sacred Mount Leinster with its cairn. The company is about 60 people, men and women of all ages, in classically attired according to their fancy, and there are many, many children. We watch a procession of children placing flowers in a great granite stone basin within the belvedere, and these are offered to the goddess Flora. Visualize this scene. Imagine yourself presenting your favorite flowers in this great basin, which is full of water, spring water, and offer it to the goddess Flora. Now the procession is beginning to wend its way towards a great deodar tree. Process round this, and now they reach a long dark line of yew trees, 600 years old, forming a great brown arch, and speckled sunlight comes through, August sun, on the crisp brown pine needles. See yourself going down this long dark tunnel with golden light at the end. That's it. But the company now is swinging to the left, and we hear the music becoming stronger. We pass beautiful trees, and we reach a stately cypress grove. We pass through 2 cypresses which form the entrance. In the center of this grove is a small fire with various sacred woods burning in it, including juniper. However, our attention is drawn to the altar tree on which is seated a woman. She is totally veiled in a white and gold cloth, beautiful billowing all round her, so she looks like an ancient antique statue, for she is classically robed with golden sandals on her feet. We realize we are seeing a priestess in trance. The leading magician, the magus, approaches. He offers incense and calls upon the divine goddess Hathor.
Adorable Hathor, kindly mother of all creatures, goddess of love and laughter, we are orphaned of thee. We have turned away from thy joy, which calls us through all nature, to return again to thy bountiful bounty, thy beautiful bounty. Bestow on us happiness and love, health and abundance.
Oh, so we call upon the Egyptian cow goddess of love. This may account for a beautiful golden aura which some see above and round the priestess, like a sunny mantle of loveliness. Others see her shimmering in the air. When this golden disk appears to settle upon the crown of the head of the priestess, we are given the oracle. Because you ask me for these gifts, you shall receive them. For long, hard centuries, you, my dear human children, have sought knowledge and authority, strength and sanctity, believing that these hardly won gains will make you as the deities. But though it is well to be powerful, without love and happiness you are as nothing. And this love is not some strange and terrible passion that could tear you asunder, as it does when suppressed or misused. Rather, it is the kindly benevolence that not only seeks the good for others, but also for itself. Well, who would be the victim of another's immolation? True friendship and marriage is to share good things such as abundance, laughter, and peace. For in the past, you clever and hard-working ones have travelled the earth, making converts to your puritanical civilization, but have made millions wretched and uprooted them from their own way of living. It is not for nothing that I am depicted with the solar disk between the horns of a cow. Do not despise me. Do not despise me in this form, for as a cow I have 4 legs and can stand in my sleep, whereas the walking 2-legged human suffers from unbalance. I give my milk generously, and have the wisdom to stay where I am, either eating grass or meditating, which is what you call chewing the cud. You run around too much in your minds and with your bodies. Be peaceful. Be happy. And in this way, you will, through gentleness, find power. Through stillness, achieve progress. And by living fully each moment, gain abundance for all time. Know that Jupiter himself appears as a bull, as does Serapis Osiris. But neither of these gods, nor I myself, manifesting in these animal forms, derive strength and health from killing and eating our fellows. You petition me for health, do likewise. Be happy, for if you are happy now, you are happy forever. To rejoice in the eternal now is my secret. My love abideth, for it is the love of the All-Mother. All gaze at wonder at the entranced priestess, and they watch the light slowly retreat from her entranced form, and gently they leave her to recover, folding their hands in thanks to the goddess for her oracle. Now we turn to an altar which is before the fire. It is draped in gold. On it are 4 lighted lamps, a pot of burning incense of herbs, a mirror, a chalice of red wine, small yellow sunstones, and a golden sceptre with a purple stone in its head. 2 enchantresses wear the Hathor crown, made in bronze and copper, the solar disk between cows' horns, and green and gold robes. 2 magicians wear laurel wreaths and green and gold robes. Magical practitioners wear wreaths and green and gold robes, except for the future candidate, who is in white, edged with the Greek key design in gold. The first magician speaks.
Fellow followers of the Olympians, let us perform the ceremonial magic of the mighty planet Jupiter and its encircling moon. May we receive the planetary gifts of sovereignty, nobility, friendship, and success.
The incense rises into the air, circling. Now the first enchantress speaks. To enjoy ourselves with full expression, we need to rule with love, to be generous in success, to recognize the nobility in others, and to share friendship with all beings. For this inner expression of Jupiter, we need to turn to this Egyptian goddess of love and joy, great Hathor. For the priests of Egypt declared to Solon the wise that the Greeks were as clever children. The Egyptians revered the wisdom of the heart.
And so be it. Let both Jupiter and Hathor be invoked.
Here he makes the sign of Jupiter with his mighty staff in the southwest and offers incense.
Mighty aegis-bearing Jupiter, the thunderer, bringer of power and laughter, bestow on us greatness and majesty. Give us your gift of entering into all creatures, for only through identity is love achieved.
Jupiter changed his form many times for love of women. Minerva, daughter of Jupiter and Metis, illustrated her father's metamorphosis in great picture embroidered in wool. An air of majesty proclaims her portrayal of Jupiter as monarch of the universe. She drew Asteria struggling with an eagle that had seized her, and Leda laid supine under the snowy pinions of a swan. She added in her picture how Jupiter, disguised under the form of a satyr, presented the fair Antiope with twin offspring. How as Amphitryon he enjoyed Alcema, now changed to a shower of gold, Danae, and how the daughter of Aesopus felt him in a lambent flame. To Mnemosyne, memory, he appeared a shepherd, and to Diash, a speckled snake.
It was the goddess in women that Jupiter ever sought, and she is Hathor and Juno and all goddesses. For know that there is a transformation of the goddess for every change of the god, be he Jupiter, Pan, or Proteus. We know Hathor and lo Io as cows, Mut as a vulture, and Kundalini as a flame of fire. Here the enchantress makes the sign of Hathor and offers incense. I offer incense to the goddess Hathor. Hear the words of thy priestess, as called forth of old in the holy scriptures, the coming forth by day. Hathor, lady of Amentes, lady of Tarchessus, eye of Ra, beautiful of face and the boat of millions of years, the habitation of peace. Creator of law and the boat of the favored ones, we give praise to thee, Hathor, the mistress of our Armentes, and pay homage to Mehurit. The doors of heaven are opened for us. The doors of earth are opened for us. And the first temple hath been unfastened for us. Behold, we are guarded and watched as we are released.
I kneel before the goddess Hathor, seated by a tree. I adore the goddess by her shrine. I have gained mastery over my heart. I have gained mastery of my breast. I have gained mastery over my whole body. I have gained the mastery of air. I have gained the mastery over the things which are ordered to be done upon the earth. In a clean place I sit on the ground beneath the foliage of the date palm of the goddess Hathor, who dwelleth in the spacious disk as it advances to Anu, having the books of the divine words of the god Thoth. I shall place myself in the path of the wind like a guide who is well prepared.
We are the pure travellers. Behold, O Ahi, behold, O Ahi, let us be amongst those who follow the goddess Hathor. Let us call upon her name. Hathor,
Hathor, Hathor, The words of power have been uttered. The magic is begun. Who among us will enact the four transformations of woman as she wins the gifts of the planet Jupiter?
So that we may share these gifts, I will act these roles.
It is needful for you to travel backwards through time to the Golden Age. At each age you shall be the woman that Jupiter loved, in changing form appearing.
Never! How shall I endure the wrath of the goddess Juno, who persecuted such women and their offspring with unparalleled ferocity?
Why, by being Juno.
I, a humble mortal, impossible.
Not so. Through the goddess Hathor you will receive the wisdom of the heart, so that you will recognize the god in each differing creature. And in so doing you will act with virtue, for to receive the god is also to accept his wife Juno, for the twain are as one. Have courage. Olympians and humans and all creatures, whether bulls or swans or snakes, are all children of our mother goddess. Trust Hathor.
May Hathor bless and inspire me.
Your first transformation is nearest to in time, our own iron age. You are to identify with Helen, daughter of Jupiter and of Leda, whom the wise call Nemesis. Rich-tressed Leda, after her blissful union with Jupiter, in his disguise as a swan, gave birth to 2 golden eggs. The first gave forth the Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux. The second bore a third child, Helen, a marvel to men. Some say that Hermes, in obedience to the will of Zeus, stole Helen and carried her to Egypt, giving her to Proteus, the king of the Egyptians, to hide there. He then fashioned a phantom Helen as queen of Sparta, and it was this phantom which Paris stole and brought to Troy. Answer well. Which Helen do you choose to be, the fatal Helen who caused the war of Troy, or the Helen who stayed quietly in Egypt, meditating in the temple of Hathor?
For many lives I have lived fully as a woman, loving and caring, marrying and giving births. Such is the way of women. But now I seek a new life of success. A swan is the most beautiful creature in nature, gliding easily through life, mirrored in still waters. My soul would float in winged loveliness, far from earthly cares. I choose to meditate in the temple of Hathor.
Friend, do you want to do that? But have you lived a very boring life, nothing ever happening, and to have to spend the rest of your life meditating in a temple instead of being the most beautiful woman in the world with everybody fighting about you? Be absolutely honest. What sort of books do you read? What sort of films do you look at? Are they always about femme fatale? Which women do you admire most? Mary, Queen of Scots, or Queen Elizabeth? Cleopatra, or the Virgin Mary? Be honest. Always be true to yourself. Meditate. Which do you choose? Now, you've had your own true answer. But there's another question for our candidate. But which was the true Helen?
Why, myself in Egypt. For my soul was there, while my body, which is but a mortal phantom, gave birth to Paris's offspring in Troy. Where the soul is, there is true expression.
We see this candidate as no ordinary candidate. She is a possible priestess because she identifies with her soul and does not regard her body as particularly real because it's transient. Let us meditate on her words. It's no good pretending and talking high-nosed stuff about spirituality when you don't believe it. What's your true self? Your winged soul, or have you ever met it? Or your earthly body that wants its next meal? Meditate on that. Food for your soul is music, beauty, love. You can't measure them, can you? They are forever. All that is good in you lives forever. All that is beautiful and true. But if you do not identify with these and spend your time worrying over money or fighting with people or something, you're wasting your life, aren't you? I should say me. I worry too. Think of nonsense, we all do. Best time to find your soul is at dawn and dusk, or doing a trance journey like this. Feel your soul as it begins to shine as the candidate's aura, which is beginning to be colored by the most beautiful peacock colors. Your soul has as many expressions as the eyes on a peacock. You have lived before and will live again. When you center yourself in your spirit, you will have all your lives in richness, only rejecting the unreal, the unpleasant, the distorted. You are as beautiful as Helen and as glorious as Jupiter. You are his child, as noble as Hera. You are her daughter. Be an Olympian. We see by the smiling countenances of the company that they feel the candidate has passed this test, not by her fine words, but by the sincerity of them, and they can see her aura, which is shining with soft primrose and delicate colours. The second priestess, enchantress, picks up the mirror of Hathor from the altar. Do you know what this mirror is? It represents the soul. A pure mirror represents the light of spirit. She presents the mirror to the candidate. Accept this mirror. You have gained the element of water, the success which comes from beautiful tranquility. From henceforth you shall have the gift of drawing all beings to you by the loveliness of your soul. Your face will shine as Helen's did, who wore a jewel on her brow which shed perpetual light. Yet remember that Hathor also appears as a cow and a hippopotamus. Beauty lies in the soul of each and every creature. Good. I like those words of the enchantress. I see the candidate is looking thoughtful. She's very pretty, but she's wondering, did she admire perhaps hippopotami? Do you? Let us think about this. Think of creatures that may have been regarded as ugly. I think that would be a good moment to meditate on people you dislike, who seem to you ugly, or people who have beautiful souls but ugly bodies. And think of all in peace and kindness, for one day they too will gaze in the mirror of Hathor and see themselves as the deities see them now, immortal and beautiful. The ugliest child is as beautiful as Helen to her parents, and the most deformed soul within a beautiful body is still beloved by the parents who understand the sufferings brought on by ugly behavior. Feel love and peace. Now there are mirrors being handed on from companion to companion who look in it, but not in the usual way, seriously, as if it were a crystal. Will you please visualize the mirror of Hathor, which is a circle, and look in it, it's like the moon, and see yourself. You now see scenes of your past lives, the past life in the mirror, scenes of your childhood, that which you wish to keep when you leave this life. It might be a grassy field, a friend, an animal. Shut your eyes, do this. Discard the irrelevant. Keep what you need. You're going back in time. You may see glimpses of a past life. faces you once knew and loved, faces you disliked and will forgive. Friends, we are assembled at a celebration of the ceremonial magic of Jupiter and Hathor. A candidate is being tested. The first magician steps forward and speaks.
Let the second test be started.
So mote it be. The second magician speaks.
Move back in time to the age of Taurus and learn of your second transformation as Europa, daughter of Agenor, king of Tyre. On the shore of Sidonia, the daughter of the mighty monarch was wont to amuse herself, accompanied by a train of Tyrian virgins. Great Jupiter fell in love with the fair princess. Majesty and love but ill agree, nor can long continue in the same abode. He therefore, the father and sovereign of the gods, whose right hand is armed with the three-forked thunder, who with a nod shakes the universe, laying aside the dignity of empire, puts on the appearance of a bull, and mixing with a herd by the shore, lolls and frisks about on the tender grass. His color is that of snow, unsullied by the tread of feet or the dissolving blasts of the watery south wind. His neck rises in rolls of fat, and double dewlaps hang from between his shoulders. His horns indeed are small, but such as you might maintain were polished by a workman's hand, and more transparent than the brightest gem. No threads appeared in his forehead. His eyes have nothing in them formidable, but every look expresses peace.
The daughter of Agenor admires his beauty and wonders that he threatens no battles. At first she is afraid to touch him, though so gentle, but soon it ventures nearer and holds out the flowers to his white mouth. The lover rejoices until he can enjoy the hoped-for pleasure, kisses her hands. Scarce does he defer the rest. And now he exults and wantons in the green meadows. Now rolls his white body in the yellow sand, and observing that her fears are gone, sometimes offers his breast to be stroked by her virgin hand, sometimes stoops his horns in flowery wreaths.
And now the royal maid, not knowing whom she pressed, boldly ventures upon his back. The god by gentle steps advances from the land in dry meadows towards the sea, and first with deceitful mien dips his hooves in the waves, then stealing further, suddenly plunges in and carries his prize through the middle of the sea. The frightened nymph looks back to the shore she had left behind. With her right hand she grasps his horn, the other is placed upon his back. Her ruffling garments swell by the wind, hover in a train behind her.
Visualize this extraordinary scene that has been so often painted by the great classical artists.
The bull bore Europa to Crete, where he assumed the form of a man and wooed her. The nymph consented, though she had once made vows of perpetual celibacy. She bore him 3 sons, Monos, Sarpedon, and Rhadamanthus, whose temples are to be seen to this day. And the princess gave her name to the continent of Europe. As Europa, what do you gain?
Friend, what do you gain from this extraordinary story? How different from the home life of the Lord Jehovah. You can see that the Christians would be shocked by such a presentation. Nonetheless, the great myths are connected with the stars. He is the starry bull in the sky, the white bull that rises from the sea of heaven with the red eye of Aldebaran. These myths enshroud a mystery. Let us meditate upon the birth of the continent of Europe. And how it has affected the characters of Europeans. We who regard love-making often, or used to, as something inferior, bad, wonder at this cheerful story. How can people imagine God, the king of gods, ruler of Olympus, assuming the form of a bull that we so ill-treat, transforming into oxen, eating calves, cramming them into factory farms? Think what we do to calves. Is our attitude better? The candidate now gives her attitude. What is your attitude?
Laughter. There is something in the tale that is so engaging, so natural. With the ways of the cunning daisy and the maid in her unkept vows. At first I thought, who would follow such a god after practicing the severe and righteous path of Saturn? But then I felt the mightiest are the humblest, the gravest can laugh the most. And if one would find many loves and win a host of good friends, one may not be on one's dignity. For if the sovereign of the Olympians can afford to roll on his back as a bull in verdant meadows, to frisk and gambol in such an unkingly manner, he is a true king. And who are we to set ourselves up to be prudes and pedants? I, Europa, have second thoughts about the perpetual celibacy of pride. I accept Jupiter. He makes me laugh.
And this is the gift to Europeans, should have been the gift, laughter which we have lost. Now we see everyone smiling, including the first magician who picks up a chalice of wine and presents it to the candidate.
You have gained the element of earth, the fruit of the vine, which brings laughter and friendship. Never again shall you be solitary, even when you are alone.
Here he hands this chalice, and it is handed round to all, and all drink from it. Imagine now you are drinking from a chalice of red wine, wine not grapes of wrath, but grapes of good friendship, jovial, cheerful. Imagine this. Now, the chief magician declares that the third trial shall take place.
Let the third trial be now enacted.
So mote it be. The second magician speaks.
Learn now of your third transformation. Is Danae in the age of brass? Acrisius was filled with terror at an oracle which foretold that he should one day be slain by his own grandson, born of his fair daughter Danae. Thus he caused her to be shut up in a tower of brass. Jupiter fell in love with Danae, and, though she was shut off from mortal men in the brassy tower, was not immune to the divine intervention of the monarch. As Danae sat weeping at her cruel lifelong imprisonment, Jupiter transformed himself into a shower of gold, obtained from his mother, Rhea, who was Opus, goddess of wealth. Through heavenly union with this shining shower, Danae gave birth to a demigod, Perseus. She was rescued from her imprisonment, and Perseus became a mighty and compassionate hero. Beloved of his half-sister, Minerva, with her Gorgon's head, he rescued the princess Andromeda, who now shines brightly in the sky at night.
The chief magician now speaks to the candidate.
What effect has this transformation upon you as Danae?
What affection is this? What does it do to you? I'm taken aback because even as I speak, I find electric-like tingling on the top of my head, like electricity. Have you ever felt this? Feel it now, like a shower of gold. Sit and feel this. You are imprisoned in a tower of brass, a tower now of iron, the Iron Age, surrounded by hideous cities, steel, iron, material goods. But your soul is starving, cut off from spirit. As you enter a state of despair, you say there are no gods, no goddesses, no beauty, and this body, which is all I have, and this brain, will moulder into dust, and even this tower of brass will rust and be destroyed. And even as you speak, suddenly the hideous ceiling, the darkness, becomes illumined, and a shaft of golden light falls upon the top of your head, and you see above you the blue sky and the stars, and below you is the verdant earth, and you are surrounded by a myriad of peoples, those you thought were dead. There are angels, and above are the blessed deities. Oh, wonder! But what does the candidate experience?
This transformation is quite different from that of Europa. Here I find no laughter, rather holy awe. From the golden shower I feel a shiver run through me, from the top of my head through my body to the soles of my feet. As Danae, I accept Jupiter, as he showers me with fiery gold. My soul feels exalted, and my body is renewed from the fountain of ever-living fire. I know the nature of heavenly love through my union with Jupiter. It is not restricted to one part of myself, but glows totally through every atom of my soul and body, now united from the spirit of fire which has descended upon me from above, and has freed me from my brassy prison of ignorance and death.
All now gaze with joy above them, and we see that the auras of those present become more shining and radiant as golden light descends upon them from above. The principal magician approaches the altar and picks up the golden stones, sunstones, which he presents to the successful candidate.
Except these sunstones, emblems of the element of fire, the shower of gold, you have attained nobility. From henceforth you will feel the glorious fire of light within yourself, uniting with the flow through all creatures and beings, and within these very stones, animated in the palms of your hands, all will become true gold at your touch, bringing abundance to those whose lives touch yours.
All now turn once more to the second magician, and the principal magician announces that the next test, the fourth test, must be undergone.
Let the fourth test now be enacted.
Who may approach Jupiter save with Juno's consent? And none dare face the brightness of the Queen of Heaven without the aid of kindly Jupiter. For both are sovereigns in marriage, and we are among their offspring. Hearken to the fourth transformation as Juno, manifesting through her daughter, Juno's priestess. During the rule of Saturn in the Golden Age, Jupiter desired to bring in an age of silver, of womanhood. He was not insensible of the charms of the mother goddess of Argus, the goddess Juno. The more powerfully to gain her confidence, he changed himself into a cuckoo, and raised a great storm, and made the air unusually chill and cold. Under this form, he went to the goddess, all shivering. Juno pitied the cuckoo, and took him into her bosom. When Jupiter had gained this advantage, he resumed his original form, and obtained the gratification of his desires, after he had made a solemn promise of marriage.
Please imagine this astounding scene. This time the father of gods and men is not a mighty bull, emblem of strength, to approach the Queen of Heaven. He transforms himself into a shivering, wet cuckoo, not an attractive bird at the best of times. However, he found favor with the great goddess.
The nuptials of Jupiter and Juno were celebrated with the greatest solemnity. The gods, all mankind, and all the brute creation attended. Juno, also called Olympia, Tumiduca in February, is goddess of all power and empire, and the patroness of all riches. She is Queen of Heaven, and has from her breasts created the Milky Way. She presides over marriage and childbirth, and blesses the most faithful and virtuous of her sex. She sits upon a throne, and in a glorious chariot, with a diadem upon her head, and a golden scepter in her right hand. Peacocks are by her, and a cuckoo perches upon her scepter. Behind her, Iris displays the 1,000 colors of her beautiful aura in the form of a rainbow. Now answer, what do you learn from your transformation as daughter of Juno?
What do you learn by this transformation? What can we offer the mighty goddess, the all-powerful God, our spirituality, our righteousness, our obedience to the laws, our meticulous treatment of others from duty, the great things we do in the sight of men? I do not think so, do you? I know I don't feel that wonderful, though I'd be more inclined to offer my art. But that was inspired by the deities. What can we offer them that was not inspired by them? What can Jupiter give Juno? The strength of a bull, the glory of a lion, the greatness of an eagle, thunders, lightnings. None of these will she have. She has all these powers already. So he becomes pathetic, and in the form of a cook who really does get wet, bedraggled, and miserable. He touches her heart. So may we touch the heart of deity, not in greatness, but in our smallness. We needn't show off. We even show off to our fellow humans. Royalty is coming to tea. We take more trouble than if a poor person was coming, if such a thing were to come our way. Well, that's what I feel. You feel what you think. The candidate now says what she feels.
As daughter and priestess of my divine mother, I know that no sovereignty is worthy without compassion. For queenly Juno felt compassion for a bedraggled and shivering cuckoo, and took him to her heart. And so, all unexpectedly, she found her true spouse, great Jupiter. I observe also that Jupiter understood well her compassionate nature, hidden by her veil of authority, and through this both desired to marry her, and was able to do so. For she would not have accepted the King of Gods in any greater form.
That is true indeed. Now, the first magician picks up the scepter itself, and he presents it to the successful candidate.
Accept this scepter of sovereignty, for you have gained the element of air. From henceforth you will have the gift of using authority with gentleness, power with discretion, and win success in love and life.
Now all form a circle and do a beautiful classical dance. Join in this dance of glory and happiness. Dance, dance. They are raising, or rather spreading, this power, turning inwards in a spiral. But now they are beginning to turn outwards and stand and lift up their hands, sending forth blessing to all the four elements. and the creatures thereof, the eagles and the birds of the air, and the animals on the earth, and the bright beings, salamanders, and the naiads and fishes of water. And to do this, all intone the name of Hera.
Hera,
Hera,
Hera, Hera, Hera,
The birds are singing in response. We don't have eagles, but there is a raven that flies overhead. We acknowledge this. We also notice a golden Labrador has joined us. Bo looks very splendid. We always have cats. A white cat representing the goddess. Now the priest gives thanks, the made priest a magician, to the deities.
Let us give thanks to Jupiter and Juno, and to Hathor.
The ceremony is completed, and we know that all will return, but why do they look like spirits, less than like real people? This is strange. It's almost as if we don't belong here. We notice the children are picking up the incense bowls, and everyone's picking up the water, and they're beginning to leave the grove and go through the wood. And they're coming up now. Now I want you to visualize yourself following down the long, dark yew walk, this time in reverse direction. Go on down. You're getting near the end. That's good. Now, you watch the company encircle the belvedere, the classical belvedere flora, and you see the brilliant colour of the flowers there. But you're beginning to rise into the air. You look down on the old grey castle and the lovely trees, and as you rise high, you see it is between two rivers. And these can represent, to your mind, Juno, the water giver of Aquarius, and Jupiter of Taurus, joined together. The river of the oak of Jupiter, and the river of healing of Hera and Hathor. And you rise still higher. Now you see the planet Jupiter shining in the eastern sky. Come, rise above Ireland and come back to your own time and place. Good. You're now fully back in your body. Don't go rushing out into traffic, of course, for about half an hour. I'm Olivia Robertson of the Fellowship of Isis, Donegal Castle, Enniscorthy, South Ireland. And I was helped with this reenactment by my brother Lawrence Durden Robertson and by John Mahoney and Emma Monaghan. Now, John is doing the most wonderful work producing Yeats' plays and Lady Gregory's in the west of Ireland, but he's doing it in a different way because he's producing what I feel is the inner meaning of Yeats' plays, which people don't really like. They said it used to empty the Abbey Theatre, which is, it did probably, but now they don't realise, people in Ireland, that people from all over the world are interested in spiritualism, the occult, and esoteric matters, the She and the Gaelic and other deities. So Yeats is highly relevant, and I'm happy to say our family, including myself, knew him. Now, I strongly recommend you to read of its metamorphoses. I believe he was exiled because of his lack of respect it was felt in the reign of the Emperor Augustus. And in a way this was true. People turned to a Middle Eastern religion where they offered either heaven or everlasting torture or something, and they were terrified but believed because they were afraid. The trouble of being too familiar with the deities, gambling round them as it were, is that instead of feeling beloved children that can laugh at them, we may cease to believe in them unless they frighten us. But perhaps we're getting beyond that state now. I hope so. We are younger brothers and sisters of the Olympians. Jupiter indeed is our father, as Hera. Juno is our mother. And the more we realize this, the more we can laugh with them and feel at home, the way we can with our own parents, communing with them in every way, without touching wood all the time from fear. So I hope you enjoyed this. Receive now the blessings of the loving goddess Hathor, of queenly Juno, and of mighty Jupiter. Ave, salve, vale.